Hey, fellow artists, it's a rainy day here in North Florida. It's a perfect day to be in the workshop because it isn't boiling hot. Got a few things to finish here, so let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is play a little scratch-off game and see how the gilding turned out for King Dolphin TV's Cigar Box Guitar. Also did some gilding on a slider I'm building for myself here, as you can see. And then we're gonna check on the progress of Shorty. Is Shorty repaired? We shall find out soon. I'm gonna take this towel and lightly rub off the excess copper foil. Okay, so let's see how the gilding turned out. Now, the gilding isn't perfect. As you can see, I didn't apply enough adhesive to this bottom border for it to be evenly covered. Same thing with this border. So I'm going to run to my art supply store and buy a copper gilding pen just to do these little touch-ups. Now, the reason I didn't work the entire box with a copper gilding pen is because the results aren't as reflective as copper leaf. Here's an example of the difference. Let me show you. I applied metal leaf to Shorty's soundboard, but on the neck I use a gilding pen. As you can see, the gilding pen isn't as reflective as the metal leaf. So while the gilding pen is great for touch-ups, I wouldn't do an entire gilding project with gilding pens because, yeah, simply not as reflective as metal leaf. I'll go ahead and touch this up later after I get a gilding pen, and then I'll be able to seal the metal leaf in place. Now, let's take care of my build here. Alright, so I gotta do touch-up gilding on my rustic slider as well. Very reflective. You know, on mine I may leave it super rough and rustic like that. I think I like that. But for Raymond's, yeah, I gotta get that gilding pen to finish up my touch-ups. Then we can seal these guys and then do my staining and polyurethaning. But before we hit the shop to get the gilding pen, I gotta burn in some scale degree markers onto this slider. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna use this well-loved fret template from CB Diddy to put in my hidden fret markers on the side of the neck and to locate where I want my scale degree markers. This is a 25-inch scale length template. I like wood burning with a straight edge because it makes it easy to burn in my fret markers, and it also makes my scale degree markers look like Viking runes. Alright, check out my wood burr fret and scale degree markers. I gotta burn the fingerboard guides onto King Dolphin's CDG, so here we go. Alright, so King Dolphin's playing guides have all been burnt in. There's something that I add to all of my sliders at the top of the neck. I forgot to burn this in. I always like to burn 151 under the nut to remind players that the guide marks are meant for 151 tuning or do sol do tuning or open tuning. These scale degree markers do not work unless you're using 151 tuning. So let me go ahead and put that in. So after I retouch the copper gilding, seal it, it will be time to stain and polyurethane the wood on the CBD. All right, before I continue work on these guys, let's string Shorty and see if my repairs worked. So for those of you who don't know, this is Shorty, my short scale CBG with movable copper frets and a staggering 45-degree scarf joint which broke off during my performance at the Bradenton Festival. I repaired the joint with first super glue and then this metal bracket. We're going to reconnect Shorty's nylon strings, play her a little bit, and let's see if this 45-degree headstock can now handle the pressure. I'm pretty sure that she can. I mean, this has been bolstered mechanically with some metal, but you never know. I make no assumptions. Okay, so I'm gonna use panel tuner to tune this like a learner guitar, and then we'll reconfigure the frets and try to play something. GBE, and then we're going to reconfigure its frets chromatically. So I could just play easy chords in first position. Right now, the movable frets are in dual simmer configuration, which require 151 tuning, but I use Shorty more in learner guitar mode than in 151 mode. All right, so let's get cracking. Let's reconfigure the frets. So I hit my local Walmart and I found these Gilding markers. Unfortunately, this is not the brand that I've worked with before, so I don't know how reflective they are, and I don't know how coppery that copper is. So we're going to test out the copper marker on this piece of wood. No, it's too brown to work with the copper foil. Just for some giggles, let's see what the gold looks like. No, this is horrible. The gold is too green. Just to give you some perspective on this. Copper foil. We gotta do things the old-fashioned way, folks. The gilding markers that I'm used to working with weren't available in Walmart. And that's where I got them the first time. They just weren't available this time, and these do not cut it. We got to continue with the foil and the metal leaf adhesive. Okay, so I'm going to use this very small brush to apply my touch-up adhesive, and I'm just going to carefully paint it on to make sure that I grab all the gaps in copper foil here. Alrighty. The adhesive is now transparent. Let's apply more leaf. You just gotta let that go now. While that's working, I can at least apply metal seal to my own CBG. Or rustic chipped off copper look. I've got really special plans for this guy, by the way, stay tuned. So with a new brush, and I've marked it for later, I'm gonna apply metal leaf sealer to my slider. Here we go. Supposedly what the sealer does is protects the metal from oxidation. And then I can apply polyurethane over it and it won't react chemically with my metal leaf. And it won't change its color. For the pieces where I've used metal leaf, you gotta use high gloss polyurethane, because if you use matte polyurethane, it's gonna take away all of the shimmer of your metal leaf and it'll make it look like copper paint, which is not as reflective. And we want to keep it very reflective like this. All right, so while that's working, let's check on Shorty. Hey, and so for this special moment, I decided to change location. We are here in my whimsical virtual studio, my ideal studio. We need to be here in this special space because we're going to check to see if Shorty is now a phoenix, risen from the ashes of its previous life. And so, let's call Shorty's ghost. Shorty's ghost. Ah, there it is. Ah, here's Shorty. And so, hello Shorty, how are you? Let's check Shorty's tuning. No, she hasn't drifted much at all. All right. And of course, the fix is holding. I like it. Now, as you can see, I still have Shorty in dulcimer mode. Since I have her tuned as learner guitar, we need to put all of these frets, set them up chromatically in first position so I can play some tunes. Alrighty, so let's do that quickly. Yes, these are movable copper frets, folks. They are held in place with nylon. It's been working pretty well. Not perfect, but pretty well. Let's see. We got an A here. I think I got the frets in place. Okay, let's plug in Shorty and see how much of a phoenix she is. Plugging in to my Joyo amp. Alright, I got Shorty plugged into my Joyo amp. Added a little reverb. She sounds great with reverb. They made up their minds and they started packing. They left before the sun came up that day and exit to eternal summer slacking. But where were they going without ever knowing the way? Here's my favorite one. But before I play my favorite one, let me get someone else in the ensemble here. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. You ready? Okay.
Good job.
Well, I think little Shorty can be declared a phoenix. Fly, my friend, fly. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. We got a lot accomplished in the workshop and we brought Shorty back to life, but we still have to finish King Dolphin TV's cigar box guitar. So stay tuned.